Hi, I'm Ollie, and in this video we're going to show you how to install the TentBox Classic. This video is meant as a visual guide only. It's imperative that you also read and understand the TentBox installation manual before using your TentBox. You can find this linked below. Installing your TentBox Classic. We're using one of our display stands for this video, but of course you'll be installing this directly onto your vehicle. Before you start, you'll need to install your roof bars, as per the manufacturer's instructions. It is important to do this correctly, and you should seek help if you need it. The roof bars should have a load rating of 64 kilograms or more, and should be adequately spaced apart. Everything needed for the install can be found inside the TentBox. This includes the ladder, fixing clamps, porch poles, and a spanner. The first step is to lift your TentBox onto your roof bars. You will need the help of at least one other person to do this. Ensure that it's positioned centrally on top of your roof bars and doesn't get in the way of your rear tailgate from opening. When you're happy with the position, it's time to clamp the TentBox to your roof bars using the fixing clamps provided. First, drop one of the bolts through one of the smaller fixing plates, like so, and then slide it onto the fixing rail underneath your TentBox so that it's hanging down next to one of your roof bars. Repeat this process with the remaining bolts so that you end up with 4 bolts dropping down on either side of your roof bar at 4 clamping points. Repeat this process for the remaining bolts and position them so you have 1 bolt hanging down on either side of your roof bars at the 4 clamping points. Now it's time to take the U-brackets and tighten them to the hanging bolts at the 4 clamping points. Make sure you tighten the nuts adequately, as it is the friction of the U-brackets against your roof bars that keeps the TentBox secure. Depending on how thick your roof bars are, you might need to tighten the nuts more or less than in this video. Once complete, you should be left with 4 solid clamps attaching your TentBox to your roof bars at 4 clamping points. Give your TentBox a hard shove from the front and the back to make sure there's no movement and that you've tightened them adequately. Once you've done this, your install is complete. Opening your TentBox Classic. To open the TentBox Classic, it's as simple as undoing the closing buckles at the front and back and pushing the top shell upwards. The next step is to put the ladder in place, and then you're ready to camp. First, put the ladder in place and then lock out the rungs from top to bottom. The number of rungs you need to lock into place depends on the height of your vehicle. The ladder should be as vertical as possible, as this will support your weight safely. Always be careful when using the ladder. It's important to ensure that the rungs are fully locked in place and that the ladder is in full working order. You should check this regularly. Children should be supervised at all times when using the ladder. The Classic has 2 window porches which can be propped open. There are 2 poles per window. The best way to do it is to insert the pole in the base first. The pole holes are at quite a sharp angle, and it's quite easy not to put them in fully. Make sure you feel it slot in properly before bending upwards. Then, bend the pole upwards and hook it into the eyelet on the door. If you're struggling to reach the eyelet, you can insert the poles from inside your tent. Closing your TentBox Classic. To close the TentBox Classic, remove all of the porch poles and close the ladder down fully. To do this, push the locking clips inwards, which will collapse the rung above. Be very careful to keep your fingers out of the way whilst doing this. Then place your ladder inside your TentBox or your car if you'd prefer. Then, use the long closing strap to pull down one side of your TentBox. Tuck the long closing strap inside and loosely tighten the 2 closing buckles. Make sure you fully push the buckle down to make it easier to slot the webbing inside. Then move around your TentBox to tuck all of the fabric inside before fully tightening the closing buckles at each end. It's important to make sure the windows are slightly open before closing, as it allows the air to escape and makes closing your TentBox easier. Once the straps are fully tightened, you're ready to drive. Caring for your TentBox Classic. You should always make sure your TentBox Classic is fully dry before closing it down for longer than 24 hours. It's really easy to pop it open on your drive at home to do this. Condensation buildup occurs in all confined places. The best way to prevent it is with ventilation. Cracking the windows open slightly while sleeping will help this massively. Do not use any chemical-based cleaning products to clean your TentBox. We recommend you use a good quality fabric reproofer once a year to make sure the fabric stays 100% waterproof. Although you can keep your TentBox on all year round, If you do want to take it off, it can be stored on its side. Just make sure you put something down on the floor to protect it from being scratched. Thanks for watching this video. We hope you found it helpful. As mentioned previously, please ensure you read the instruction manual as linked below. It is imperative that you understand and read this before trying to use your TentBox. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to our team, as that's what we're here for. Happy TentBoxing and welcome to the community.